What is up, Fantasy Endgame community? I'm Pierre and he's Chris. We're here for the almost Halloween edition of our live start sit show. Instant reaction and some early takes on what went down, booms, busts, injuries, which thankfully there weren't too many of, and just fantasy football life now that we're in week 8. So quick reminders. First of all, join us. If you haven't already, for some reason, this is your first time watching us, or if you have watched and you haven't subscribed, not sure what else we can do to tell you that you should subscribe, hit the like button, and join us. We're here every week. We go live every Sunday night. We go live every Saturday night with start-sit questions for like 3 hours. This is just a quick 1 hour wrap up, but we're doing it so that we can get involved with you. That's what we're about. Also, you can join us on Discord absolutely free and talk fantasy football 24/7, 365 with us and our wonderful community. That is completely free. You can also become a patron. Patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. Have a lot of stuff to offer there. The link is down below. And I think that is it for now. So let's get to the questions and comments.
Let's go. It's crazy week, as it always is.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. So JT, well, look, I don't think you can blame any of your fortunes on the kicker. That's just,
like,
come on, it's a kicker. You can't put your fortunes on them. But okay, JT. So we're going back and forth. We're not sure. We'll see what the end result is. You're gonna get that panic video pretty soon here. Should you panic about Jonathan Taylor? Well, Chris will tell you. But Chris, you're thinking that was pretty bad. I'm thinking, well, 76 yards. That's okay. You know, he could have gotten that touchdown. But you're worried, I guess.
I mean, I think you got to be a little worried. Plus, like this, like I saw a report that the reason they went to Ellinger is so they won't have to pay Matt Ryan all this money that they would have owed him if he like played a certain amount of games or something. You can't look at what Sam Ellinger did today and say, oh yeah, Matt Ryan was the issue. This offense could not move the ball. Like they could not move the ball like at all. Like come on. Sam Ellinger should not be out there. So my worry with JT is not that JT is bad. It's that he's now in an offense that won't even give him chances to really score. Like we'll rarely give him chances to score, and teams don't have to like even worry about the pass really now. So, yeah.
I mean, Ellinger wasn't horrible, but definitely not an upgrade. And look, they didn't switch to him because they think he's going to be better than Matt Ryan. There's other issues involved, ownership apparently involved, so whatever. Yeah. But look, they were a point away from winning. They're still fighting this. Frank Reich's fighting to save his job. They're going to keep trying to win. They're going to keep going to JT. So I'm not worried about the volume. My worry is that the offensive line is just not good, which is crazy because they still have Quentin Nelson and Kelly at center. I mean, they should have a good offensive line, if not elite. So I don't know why it's so bad. But anyways, yeah, JT, not great.
Not great,
but let's see what happens next week.
Yeah.
Tyler saying Devontae, but you know what?
Bust of the week for sure.
But still, look, he did play, but we should have known, flu game didn't work out like Jordan is not 100%. And obviously it affected this whole offense. But man, what about just Carr and the Raiders in general and Jacobs? Jacobs is the bigger dud, don't you think?
No, the biggest dud to me was Derek Carr because Jacobs was a dud, but like when your team's getting blown out, the running back is probably going to dud unless they're Austin Eckler or somebody like that who gets, 10 dump offs. The biggest dud here is Derek Carr against who in the Saints secondary started week 1. I'm going to go with nobody. None of them. He's playing against nothing but backups. He's got Devontae. Even a 70% Devontae Adams should be good enough. He's got Matt Collins. He's got Hunter Renfrow. He's got Josh Jacobs, and he was awful. Trust me, I rant about him tonight. I am done with Derek Carr. Done with Derek Carr. He literally cost me a win in a matchup where I had Alvin Kamara, and I am going to lose because Derek Carr could only give me like 1 point or 2 points or whatever he got me. Brutal.
That's what's great. And this was, really for fantasy owners, this was a great week. It was amazing because there's so many points scored, so many big performances, and hardly any injuries, really. mean, we came out great. If you love fantasy football, this isn't one of those weeks where you're, this was a great week, except for the Raiders. I mean, zero. How do you get the Saints defense has been bad, even a ton of points. How do you get zero? I don't know.
That was terrible.
All right. The greatest pickup, well, for this week, Deontay Foreman. Here's the thing. Look, my reaction is I just keep thinking like, yes, because I was big on Foreman this week, and then I was like, man, it's going to be really disappointing next week when he gets like 50 yards because Chuba Hubbard might come back, and then they go against Cincinnati, and it's going to be different. So, yeah, be happy you picked up Foreman, but I'm just telling you, just pump the brakes a little bit for next week.
Yes. Foreman probably not going to be a league winner, but you never know. All
right, Heath, let's talk about Etienne. Give him his due. You said he's a must start now, no matter what.
I talked up Etienne all draft season. I talked about Etienne. Well, I didn't talk him up early in the season when he's busting, but then I started saying go trade for him. But even this week, I was like, don't start Etienne unless you have to. It's the Broncos. Etienne is just on another level right now. He's just on another level, ripping off huge run after huge run. Yeah, Etienne's an every week must start. Every week must start at this point.
Yeah, I was skeptical because of the matchup, because Denver is obviously good, and then the whole London thing, you never know. Yeah. No doubts anymore. Etienne, we'll have him as a must start no matter what. I mean, he is that talented. This guy who's like 99 percentile spark scorer, like elite athlete. Obviously, you know what he did in college. Now that he's got the backfield to himself, I should have known. All right. Playing it too safe. That's me. Keith, unfortunately, had Pollard on the bench. Look, Chris was even higher on Pollard than he kept saying, you have to start Pollard. This is a smash spot. I mean, he was right.
Yeah, Pollard with no Zeke against the Bears. Yeah, it just seemed like a smash spot. So, yeah, definitely. I was happy to see Dak throwing more too. CD had a big game. The Bears, one thing about the Bears, the 2 weeks in a row, their offense has actually looked fairly good. So maybe things are coming around for them. It's still not really coming around for Mooney, but
well, he did something. He got 7 for 50. I mean, and that's something. Double-digit fantasy points for him. That's amazing.
Sure for him.
But yeah, I mean, I thought last week was just kind of fluky. But yeah, the Bears offense definitely has come around. They're actually trying to sort of pass the ball, which it's working.
Yeah, and they're running those design runs for Fields.
What about Stevenson after another great week? This is an interesting one because we thought Damian Harris back, it would go to mostly a split. Yeah, Stevenson's still kind of in the lead, but he's pretty much the guy now.
Well, the crazy thing to me, and I'm looking it up, that I never saw coming. Where is it here? So Stevenson, 16 carries, Damian Harris 11, and 71 yards for 16 carries. Okay, that's a good game. That's 4.5 yards per carry. It's good. It's nothing special. The thing that's crazy to me about Stevenson, 7 catches for 72 yards. This guy has turned into a pass catching machine. I thought, maybe Stevenson would be a guy who catches a few passes a game. 7 catches for 72 yards. I didn't see that ever happening for Stevenson. So, if he's going to keep catching passes like that, Stevenson's going to be great.
That's definitely something that's learned because he was not this pass catching back in college at all. He's a bigger guy, right? Bigger back. And then last year didn't really catch many passes. So they've made him into that to replace James White. They're like, okay, we don't have the next James White. Obviously, the guys they drafted didn't pan out, or at least not yet. So, I mean, product of the system. Yep. All right, Chris, victory lap time for you on your boom call with DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
I know you hated doing it, but you got to love the result.
No, here's what's funny about it. So, he had 14 fantasy points, which for DJ Moore is a boom, right? And then he dropped that pass that not only did he drop it, it went into an interception. It looked like DJ Moore just lost the game for the Panthers right there. And then he caught that huge touchdown and chucked his helmet. So now it looks like DJ Moore just won the game for the Panthers. But then he chucks his helmet like Stephon Diggs in that playoff game, gets the penalty, and it makes the kicker miss the extra point. So DJ Moore in the span of 2 minutes lost the game, won the game, and then lost the game again for the Panthers. But yeah, he had a huge game. But look, that's against an awful Falcons secondary, and it took a last second, basically a Hail Mary, for him to have a huge game. That's what it took. Did you see the replay? he's like running and he's like, oh, I'm not getting the ball. And he like stops running. And then he realizes PJ Walker's extending the play. And like even the DBs stopped running. And then he starts running again. And the DB's like, oh, no, he's running. Like, yeah, sell DJ Moore for whatever you can right now. Please sell him for whatever you can get right now.
Yeah, wow. I was worried. And who knows next week will happen. I said I was worried that they lose. We're going to see Baker Mayfield back next week. And then you really don't want DJ Moore. I mean, I don't know because, I mean, they should have won. But anyways. All right. So victory lap time here for Caden, the Colts fan. Put up 200 points. Nice. This is an interesting question about DeAndre Hopkins, who also boomed. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Sell high or do you keep him?
I mean, I'm always willing to sell high if you're actually selling high. That's the problem. People say, like, I sold high on DeAndre Hopkins. I got, I don't know, somebody who's good but not great. Like, I don't know. I can't think of anybody right now. Like, maybe I sold high on DeAndre Hopkins. I got, Khalil Herbert. I don't know, who's had but really, like, that's like, no, that's not selling high. Like, if you can sell high on like DeAndre, like, if you can go out and trade DeAndre Hopkins and get Saquon Barkley, who didn't have a great game today, then I say, yes, sell high on DeAndre Hopkins. But you got to really sell high on DeAndre Hopkins because, don't just trade him to trade him. Because at least for however long Marquise Brown is out, he's going to be a target monster. He's going to be a target monster.
That's the thing. Marquise Brown out for at least, 4 weeks? 4 more weeks? I mean, we don't even know.
No. Well, we don't know, but yeah, at least two more, but it could be more. Yeah,
at least. And so, why? I don't know why he would sell DeAndre. You still a must-start guy to me, so I wouldn't trade him. I mean, I don't know who else, unless you're desperate for a running back. But and then again, who are you going to get for him? Like, I wouldn't sell him to get Ramondre Stevenson. I would rather keep DeAndre Hopkins. That's not a win. So
that's not selling that.
And Ronnie Santana, what's up, Ronnie? Rondell Moore and Dak might get my first win. Gus, by the way, if you're watching, I don't know if Gus watches in the evening, but apologies. He's hating it because we said to start Carr instead of Dak because Carr should have had a good game. He should have, and he
so bad.
That's a big L. But yeah, hopefully you get that first win. Rondell Moore, like, speaking of the Cardinals, he did have that touchdown. I'm still not sold on Rondell Moore, so
not sold.
Good that you had him this week.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your take on this? Would you trade JT for Dalvin Cook? Because you're worried about JT, but I know you say Cook is a guy to sell high too.
Yeah, Cook for me feels like a huge sell high right now. I mean, just he's got one more good match, I guess a good matchup against Washington, and then he gets a brutal stretch of matchups. Just a brutal stretch of matchups. He's not, look, Alexander Madison is getting a lot of work. Like, not like, not like half the snaps, but he's getting like way more work than we've ever seen him get. Scored another, decently long touchdown today, catching passes. Like, it's not just the Dalvin Cook show. So
I know Dalvin Cook he's been efficient every game. I mean, it feels like he keeps performing. JT, I just don't know. I mean, I'm not giving up on JT, but I don't know if he's going to be better than Cook.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in a few weeks we could be looking back on this and saying like, oh man, should have taken JT. Like, it's easy to look right now. Dalvin Cook is scoring touchdowns, right? He's putting up decent games, but again, he's had a really soft schedule. And it gets really, he goes like New England, Buffalo, Tampa Bay. It's like brutal, the schedule coming up for him. It's like brutal. So I don't know. I probably don't, but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I probably don't right now. It's close. It's close. What do you think about Foreman? Is this time to sell high?
Of course. Anytime you get a backup running back who has like 2 nice games in a row like this, you sell high. But again, you have to sell high. Don't trade Foreman and be like, I traded Foreman and got, I don't know, Brian Robinson. Like, no, not that anybody would do that, but you know what I mean? Like, trade high. Like, go out and get a really good wide receiver. Like, go get Chris Olave, who just had a down game. Or go get Devonta Smith, who had a down game. Go get somebody like that.
Yeah, because Hubbard will split
Yeah.
time with him as soon as he comes back. And I don't know the severity of his injury, anything like that. I don't think he's out long term. And then next week is going to be a different matchup on the road against Cincinnati. It's not going to be the Falcons.
Exactly.
How do you feel about Pittman now?
Like, startable, but that's pretty much about it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he almost had that like end around touchdown, but yeah, startable, but that's it. His ceiling is going to be so limited now with Ellinger. It just is. Just is. It sucks, but
yeah, but you wouldn't do this.
No. I'll still keep Pittman. No, whatever. No, Melvin Gordon, we have like 25 yards. Wandale really did nothing today.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon is like 50 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's pretty much what you'll expect. And the touchdown is not guaranteed either.
Yeah, exactly.
I do know that they're running the ball when they get near the goal line, but it could be Latavius Murray instead of Gordon. I know it was both this week, but nah, I wouldn't do this. Okay. Well, this one interesting. Let's see. Oh, speaking of the Colts again, so Caden, who is a Colts fan, was at the game. He said that Reich is booed constantly. Run blocking is terrible.
Yeah.
So obviously the Colts fan is worried here.
Well, this is why I was high. I was still on JT when they made the move to Ellinger, because I'm like, they're not going to throw the ball to Ellinger, and they didn't.
Right.
So, yeah, Reich's got to go. Like, he's got to go. Like, what? Like, how many chances is this guy going to get? Now, I will say one thing going back to Pittman. Like, okay, 7 catches, 53 yards. Okay. Like, if it's Darnell Mooney, you're excited about that if it's Pittman or not. But he did have 9 targets on 23 pass attempts today. That's a huge target share. Unfortunately, it's Sam Ellinger throwing the ball. So, whatever.
Right. And that's why I'm not out on Pittman, because I know he'll still get a sufficient amount of targets. Just the quality of targets isn't going to be as high, right? The ADOT will start to go down.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, because they say, for the season. I mean, that probably at some point, I bet we see Matt Ryan back. I mean, this is a team that's just reeking of desperation right now. All right. So he says, listen to this. Currently down about 20 with Chubb to play. You think he can pull it out with just Chubb?
Down 20 with just Chubb. I mean, he can. He definitely can. Like, it's not, it's certainly possible.
But look at that. He went against CMC, Deontay Foreman, and AJ Brown.
Wow.
And you still have a chance.
That's crazy. So I have in my that's crazy that you even still have a chance. I hope you do it, because that'd be pretty crushing for the person who has that team. But in my wife's work league, I went against a team that had no quarterback. They're in last place. They don't even set their lineup. They had no quarterback, and they had Zeke still in their lineup. And literally up until George Kittle scored that touchdown, it looked like I was going to lose, and I'm going to be either the number one, like one of the top scorers this week. It wasn't like my team was terrible. Like, my team was great. And I was like, oh, because the other guy had CMC and Tyreek Hill. Just from those two guys. Plus, he had Duvernay had like 16 this week. Like, of course, this is the week Duvernay is going to get 16. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, but yeah, I guess now I'm rooting for Chubb to get, what does he need? 22? 22? All right, I'll root for Chubb to get 22.
Yeah, and I think I literally have Chubb in 0 leagues this year, but I don't think I have any other big stake in the game, tomorrow. Yeah. So I'll root for Chubb too. Angus, we're going for you.
Yeah, we did get some super chats. I want to get to them real quick. So Stanley saying happy for both of your teams won today. I'm guessing he means his teams.
Oh yeah, the Dolphins and the Commanders.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't really want the Commanders to win though, because
you forget that you're even a fan.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even care. I just care. All I care about is fantasy. I don't care about the Commanders, to be honest. And then Joseph, how's it going? Go Eagles, man. Eagles.
I will say I'm not sweating it too much as a Dolphin fan. The 72 perfect record. They'll lose at some point, but
there's no way. No team is going to go into. Now you got to win 20 games. That's like ridiculous. Now they only had to win like 14. Like, the team's got to win like 20 games these days, or whatever it is. Because now you got 17 games plus you're gonna have to win 3 playoff games. You got to win 20 games. No team's ever going to go undefeated. No chance. All right, then Daddy Mayhem, Cook and AJ Brown for JT and Olave in a dynasty league.
Wow.
Well,
in a dynasty league, I would definitely rather have JT than Cook.
Yeah.
And then
for sure.
I guess, yeah, then do it because AJ Brown, I mean, of course you want AJ Brown, but Olave looks like a stud and he's in year one. That's the thing. He's younger and he's the guy. So yeah, I would take JT and Olave.
Yeah, in Dynasty for sure. I mean, you definitely want JT over Cook in Dynasty. Even if JT's bad this whole year, it's fine. He's like 24 years old. Olave, I mean, yeah, you want AJ Brown over Olave even in Dynasty because AJ Brown's what, 25, 26? He's still young. But Olave looks like he's could be an absolute monster. So yeah, I want the JT Olave side. All right, I think we got through the super chat. So
yeah, well, here's interesting because we just dropped our running back. Is Kamara top 5? Do you move him up, and how much up in the rankings now?
No, I mean, look, I'm not going to overreact to a 3-touchdown game. Like no one last week was asking. Like Kamara had 3 good games in a row, right? Like good, not like incredible games, but good games. And no one's asking if Kamara's a top 5 running back. Now he scores 3 touchdowns, and it's like, is Kamara a top 5? I mean, yeah, if he scores 3 touchdowns every week, he will be. I will say though, if Andy Dalton continues to be the quarterback, that is very good for Alvin Kamara. Very good for Alvin Kamara because Andy Dalton dumps it off plenty. If Jameis does come back at some point, that will kill Kamara's value to some degree. I cannot put Kamara in the top 5. No way. Can't do it. Not overreacting to the 3 touchdown game.
Winning now with Dalton, so I don't think that's going to happen, at least not anytime soon. He's right there in the top 10 conversation, but not top 5. I mean, I wouldn't put him over those guys just yet. Look, maybe that will change, but I'm not going to do it now. Like you said, coming into today, he had 0 touchdowns. So, you know, and this was just a game that got away from the Raiders. They were able to run. Let's not, you don't want to get carried away. But, we didn't have him, and a lot of people were surprised. But Kamara's, right there outside the top 10. You got Kamara and Cook. They're kind of lurking right outside. But no. The answer is no.
Yeah, not top 5.
All right, here we go. MAZ. All right, sweating down by 30 in a PPR league with, so this is PPR and point per
carry.
With
yard
bonus. Okay, one of these crazy leagues.
Yeah.
Okay, so you still have Boyd, Dobbs, and Rogers. Well, you could do it.
I mean, 30, I think you can do 30. You might not get anything from Dobbs, but, you know, if Rodgers can get you 15 and Boyd can get you 15 or 16, I think that's doable.
It's possible. Don't feel great about it, but it's possible. All right, but the question here is, should you trade JT? And the answer, of course, is it depends.
Yes, the answer is always, who are you trading him for? Like, if you're going to trade JT for pennies on the dollar because they know. But if you're going to get a good return for JT.
If you're starting Dobbs, then you probably should trade him for a wide receiver. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. But again, you got to get him. You got to get somebody really good in return. You can't trade JT and get I don't know, somebody who is somebody that was good today but hasn't really been good this year, and now people are going to freak out about him and think they're good, like DJ Moore, or Jacoby Myers. Or Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Ayuk's had a few good games in a row. Don't go trading JT for Brandon Aiyuk. That's not getting the good value for JT.
Right. Okay. Joe. All right. Well,
Thank
Joe,
you, Joe,
thanks again. Appreciate you.
Appreciate that.
Joe was with us this morning for the Patreon start 6 show. So
that is bye week.
Yeah, that's right. We know he got the W.
Got the W for sure. Unless all his players fumbled and didn't do anything else.
All right, Mike Hamblin saying he held Hopkins, held tight. Now that he lost Chase, he's coming in clutch. That's why you hold a guy like that. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
And that's why people, it's so easy to just think of the here and now. I can't wait forever. Now you're glad you waited and you held him because he can help you down the stretch. Second half, definitely more important than the first half of the season.
Yes.
All right. Well, speaking of Aiyuk, someone's asking, Muhammad wants to know, should I trade Aiyuk? Is this a sell high for you?
Yeah, definitely. Coming off 3. I mean, look, he caught a touchdown today from Christian McCaffrey. Congrats if you started Aiyuk today. And look, Aiyuk still was pretty good outside of that. It wasn't like that's all he did. What did he do today? He had 6 for 8. He had 6 for 81, but remember, like, and a touchdown. But I think that was like a 23-yard touchdown pass. So with Jimmy G today, he had 5 for like 50. So if you take out the CMC throw, right, which probably not going to happen the rest of the season, he had 5 for 50 from Jimmy G. So I think this is a great sell high for Aiyuk. Yeah, but again, sell high. Get a good running back. Go to a team that has depth at running back. Maybe they have Ramondre Stevenson as like their RB4 or something like that. You know what I mean? And a guy like that. And see if you'd be like, and they need a wide receiver. Yeah, this is definitely the time to try.
It's the perfect time to trade him too. Not just coming off another touchdown, but I think they're on bye next week, so you wouldn't have him anyways. This is the time to sell him. All right. Rye Raps, what is up? Also in our Discord. All right, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, definitely top 12. So we got this. So we're going to do our top 10. So you saw our top 10 running back rankings, which probably already got shaken up in 1 week because that's how fantasy goes. We're going to do our top 10 wide receiver rankings this week. And I don't definitely top 12. I gotta sit down and look at all the wide receivers and figure out if he's in top 10, but he's definitely right there. Like, he's definitely top 12, maybe top 10 for me. Depending on, like, I'll have to look and like really look into I mean, losing Chase, definitely will bump him up because now we can't put Chase in the top 10 since he's hurt.
So. That's all I was gonna say. So if you guys, of course you probably do, watch our start to videos for each position, wide receiver and running back and quarterback that in. So we'll at the beginning say, don't look at the matchup. Just doesn't matter. Start these guys no matter what if you have them. All right, Cooper Kupp, like, you don't have to ask,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so T. Higgins has joined that conversation. At the beginning of the year, no, he wasn't. But then he did, and then now Jamar Chase is gone. Like, you don't think about it. You start T. Higgins no matter what. And we didn't have Jalen Waddle there at first after the first few weeks. But then it's like, okay, now that Tua's back, we have to start Jalen Waddle. And, yeah, I don't think there's any reason you would look at somebody else and say, nah, I'll keep Waddle bench this week. I'll start this guy. No, unless you have a top 10 wide receiver, you have to start Jalen Waddle no matter what. So he's probably like toward the bottom of the top 10. Maybe he'll be number 10 for me. I don't know. Might be a little higher for me than for Chris.
But might be.
He's right there. I mean, look,
right
Hill and Waddle. And now can we go back and laugh at anybody who said, I know with Tyreek Hill there, Waddle's going to be, he's not going to be a fantasy stud.
I mean, I didn't think he would be, to be honest. I did not see, like, I don't know. It's just, I did not see I didn't think that the Dolphins game plan would just be like quick passes to Waddle and Hill all game long. That's all they do. It's just like bam, 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 bam. Just quick. And they just rack up those points. It's like a pinball machine, right? Like, it's like a pinball. The
McDaniel offense, that's what it is. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say top 12 for sure. Hold on to Deontay Johnson, CEH, Mike Williams, and or DJ Moore.
Well, I'm gonna say you have to hold on to Deontay Johnson because nobody wants Deontay Johnson. I think you got the same thing with CEH. I think you got to hold on to CEH. You're not gonna get correct value for him. I think you got to hold Mike Williams because, again, he's hurt. Nobody's gonna give you anything for Mike Williams unless you go to like the first place team and they're probably going to lowball you. DJ Moore, I'm going to say, like, I don't know if you're here in the beginning, trade DJ Moore. Like, DJ Moore, I just said it, had 14 fantasy points, and then he catches that long pass that should have never even been like, only the Falcons secondary can allow a wide receiver on basically the last play of the game to run by them. Like, the only thing you have to do, like, what's your mission on this play? Don't let anybody get behind us. And then what do? They let him get behind them. Like, yeah, this is the time to trade DJ Moore for sure.
Yeah, I agree. This is the time to, I mean, you say hold on to, I don't know if you mean like, do I like rage drop Deontay? Like, don't drop any of these guys. Deontay is borderline droppable, but again, don't drop him unless you really have a high priority guy on waivers. DJ Moore is a sell high. Yeah, definitely sell high. Again, I'm worried that we're going to see Baker Mayfield back in at some point. Mike Williams, you have to hold on to him. And then CH, Yeah, because how many running backs? Who are you going to get instead of him that has more upside? Probably nobody.
Well, that's the thing, and nobody's going to give you for him right now.
All right, Amizzy again. Okay, so he was talking about JT, and then he said, consider trading JT for Lamb or Higgins.
Now,
I think yes. If it's you can get those guys, yeah.
That's selling high. I would trade JT for either of those guys, to be honest. Either one.
Yeah, because those are stud. Those are stud receivers. You don't have to worry about them. And we were too low probably on Lamb this week because it was the Bears. You know, we didn't think it would be a shootout necessarily. You know? All right. Josh Jacobs killed. Yes, he did.
I mean, but look, it's funny. Like, people in the Discord are like, Saquon Barkley is trash today. I'm like, yeah, he's having a bad game. But you got 15 fantasy points from him. And he's like, been awesome all year. Yeah, Josh Jacobs killed you this week, but he's been awesome all year. Not everybody is awesome like 17 weeks out of the year. People have players have bad games. So yeah, he killed you this week, but so did the whole Raiders offense. The whole Raiders offense killed you. If you played any Raiders, you got killed. Pretty much.
Yeah, the question would be is this the start of a trend or is this just 1 week? I think it's pretty just 1 week because Josh Jacobs has been dominant every other week. So
yeah,
don't panic. Don't panic. All right, Austin Cook wants to know: would you trade Jefferson for JT?
I mean, if you're getting JT, no way. Again, people in the Discord, oh my gosh, man, it's like, you know what's funny about our Discord? Like, our Discord's awesome, and I love everybody in our Discord. But every single week, people in the first quarter are already like, oh man, like, oh, this guy, oh, I would definitely take this guy over this guy now. Oh, this guy over this guy now. It's like, it's 1 quarter of football. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like been one series. Like, okay, so the first series, like DeAndre Swift, like barely played. Jamal Williams scored. People are like, oh, why did I start DeAndre? I'm like, it's literally the Lions have had the ball one time, people. But no, look, Jefferson had a bad game by Jefferson standards, but he still got like 16 fantasy points, and it was like a terrible Jefferson game. Like, no, keep Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson didn't even wind up like with a bad game, and you know, bad game would be like you did nothing. Like he's still 6 for 98. Like any other receiver would be like, yeah, that's good.
I don't want Jefferson. Barely didn't even get 100 yards. His bum, get him out of here.
Jefferson, don't trade Jefferson for anyone, honestly.
No.
The High Proof Society wants to know: would you trade Stevenson? It depends. Have Chubb and Etienne. Okay, so you're definitely starting those guys every week, and Debo and Devontae Smith. Okay, well, yeah, you might need a Debo replacement because obviously hurt, and then he's on bye, and then you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna trade Stevenson just to trade Stevenson, but if you can go out and get like a really good wide, maybe like a CeeDee Lamb. I know he's had a big game. Maybe like a T. Higgins if he doesn't have a huge game. Who else? Maybe like a Mike Evans, who's somehow has been really good, even though Brady's been really bad. He's got like back-to-back good games. Like get somebody like really good, then yeah, I would trade Stevenson for sure.
And like who springs to mind because he's playing tomorrow and he's been good all year, might be even better, maybe when Deshaun Watson comes back, is Amari Cooper, who kind of doesn't get enough respect. At least he's really solid in fantasy, and he doesn't, come with this like star power, like what we think about as an elite receiver, because he's not necessarily an elite fantasy receiver, but he's really solid. And for a guy who's now your third running back, I think that's fair. I think that's about fair value. I don't know. Do you think that's enough?
Yeah, I mean, like you got Chubb and Etienne. You need wide receiver help. I mean, I feel like you might be able to get a little more than Amari Cooper because, again, people are low on Cooper. But, yeah.
Joe Castles. What is up, Joe? Somebody wants to trade Zeke for Patterson.
I want Patterson.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not crazy about Patterson, but, dude, Zeke, come on. You know what's terrible about today? Tony Pollard goes out there, looks incredible, and Jerry Jones immediately after the game. No, when Zeke comes back, he's our guy. We go where Zeke goes. I'm like, okay, we'll have fun not making the playoffs then, I guess. I don't know. You go where Zeke goes. Zeke goes for 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's all he does these days. So at least Patterson has some upside. So I want Patterson.
Yeah, and the thing is, like Patterson, we're not exactly sure when we'll be back in action, but the Falcons, if you notice, their run offense is pretty good. It's different guys. We don't know who the guy is, but they actually have a really good offensive line, which is why they're able to generate points despite their personnel sometimes. So I think Patterson could be really good when he comes back. You know, he was good before he got hurt.
I think he's eligible to come back next week. So, and he's been running on the field. So
we shall see. Hopefully he comes back. Cornelius Terry. Tom Brady got me 2 more points than Geno. Well, and that was a bad matchup for Geno. Okay. Help me do. Okay, there are a lot of questions here. Any hope for Tom Brady, I guess, is the first question.
I mean, not really, but the nice thing about Brady is even though he's not throwing touchdowns, he's throwing for a lot of yards every week, right? Like 300 plus yards every single week. So he at least gives you like a high floor. This is my issue with Geno. Like 2 touchdowns a day and he gets you 15 fantasy points. Like Geno just does not have a huge ceiling. Like he's fine. Like unless he gets into like a shootout with the Lions, which apparently, you know, that's what teams do with the Lions. But like he's just fine. So I don't really have hope for Brady, but I probably still would prefer Brady over Geno, honestly. Like Geno's been better in real life, but he hasn't been great in fantasy really. Outside of that one like Lions shootout, of course.
Yeah, not great now that Walker's just been dominant. But look, he did have, you saw that one, should have been a touchdown. It went off Tyler Lockett's hands. That should have been a long touchdown, and it was just dropped. So he could have had a bigger game. But yeah, I agree. Brady's going to put up more yards. The touchdowns, I don't know. I mean, they should be coming in. I mean, we'll see what happens with Brady. I mean,
So Geno did have 19 today, but that's because he had that like long run at the end of the game. He had like a 20-yard run at the end of the game. So I mean, okay, like he had a decent game today, but again, 212 yards. Like he just throws for like 200 yards. So it's like, I don't know. He's fine. Yeah. Geno's fine, but like so is Brady. They're just like,
all right. So then he says, "Do I sell Lenny on that same?"
I mean, if you can, like, better hurry. Better hurry. I don't see how it gets better for Lenny. I really don't. Like, what is the path for it getting better for Lenny? I don't see it.
And there's the thing is it's a lot of it because Tampa Bay's offensive line, all those injuries, if you remember from before the season, major injuries on the offensive line, it's catching up to them. And they don't have a mobile quarterback who can take pressure off when the other team is focused on the run. So Lenny, I think you can trade him. In the vacuum, yes, try to trade him. Not sure what you need or what you could get. Yeah. And then help me figure out the middle part here. He's saying more Duvernay, Wandale, drop Samuel. Do I hit the waiver wire? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those guys on the waiver wire, or who do I drop? Or
I can drop Duvernay pretty easily. I'm not chasing that last game where he had like 16 fantasy points. Like I can drop Duvernay pretty easily. I can drop Rondale Moore fairly easily too. Personally.
Yeah, I don't think any of those guys are must holds. Matt Goodhart again. I meant trade or not trade those guys. Okay. So he said hold on to those guys. Okay, so not dropping like Deontay Johnson, Mike Williams, CEH.
Yeah. So DJ Moore is the one I trade. Because you can't. Because look, Deontay Johnson, you're not going to get anything for him. CEH, you're probably not going to get much for him. Mike Williams, you're not going to get anything for him right now because he's hurt. So DJ Moore is like the one guy you trade. DJ Moore this week. Trade him. Coming off two good games. Now's the time to trade him.
All right. Yeah, I agree. It's funny. Kevin R says, my pops wants to drop Adams after today. If you're in the league, if you're in the same league as him, say, yeah, you definitely should. You should make that claim.
Like he looks like he's lost a step, man. He looks like he's getting old. He's lost a step. Drop that guy.
Yeah, he's gonna have the flu again next week.
Yeah.
All right. What about Jacoby Myers?
I can't figure out Jacoby Myers. Like Jacoby Myers is like Paris Campbell for me. When I finally am like, okay, I'm back in on Jacoby Myers, he's terrible. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm out on Jacoby Myers, and then he's great again. Like Jacoby Myers is just one of those guys. Like you just put him in your lineup, you take whatever you get from him. You just take what you get. You just put him in there, and like what? maybe he'll get 1 target this week. Maybe he'll have 10. I don't know. Put him in there. See what happens.
And that's the thing he did. He had a good game, and that's even with Mac Jones looking bad. I mean, Jones does not look good. His interceptions, there's some that are great play with a DB, or some it's like it was a tip. No, I saw him legit throw the ball straight to a Jets defender. Like there was nobody even near him. He looked him in, and he threw it right to him. And he wasn't good. And I can see why they might go back to Zappy, but Jacoby Myers doesn't really care. I mean, he's still going to put up numbers. So. What about this? Is Andy Dalton the new Joe Montana?
Well, wake me up when Andy Dalton wins 1 Super Bowl, and then we can we still can't even talk though, even if he wins 1 or 2, and they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year, that's for sure. Definitely not the new Joe Montana. No.
All right, maybe not. All right, more victory lap time. Who stacked Hurts and Brown?
Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, Hurts has been great all week. All year. The thing with AJ Brown is people are freaking out. AJ Brown, a top 5 rest of season wide receiver right now. I'm like, hold on. I like AJ Brown. He's gonna be in my top 10. But we've seen AJ Brown do this. He goes for those monster games, right? And then it's AJ Brown, and then the next week he gets 8. Right? 8 or something, or 6. That's just kind of who he is. And even this year, he's been mostly good, but he hasn't been incredible week in and week out. So I mean, okay. He's going to be in my top 10, but it's not getting crazy here again. But Hurts on the other hand, that he's been awesome all year. I replaced him. Well, he's right here. You can't see him, but yeah, Hurts has been awesome all year.
Yeah, replaced by the Halloween montage there, but yeah, he will definitely still be in the background. I think probably till the end of time. What do you think? Swaggy P traded Cooper for Pierce.
I mean, if you need a running back, it's fine. I know Pierce wasn't great today. He did get that touchdown at the end, kind of save his day, but he's still pretty much their entire offense. He gets all the touches. He catches a decent amount of passes. So I think if you need a running back, I'm okay with that.
I think that's a pretty fair trade. It might be a win-win for both sides because solid wide receiver 2, solid RB2. I think that's fine. Again, it depends on your roster. And what about this one? This one is interesting. Would you trade JT for Swift?
I think I would. I know Swift didn't do what we wanted him to do today, but he had 5 catches, played 52% of the snaps. I wonder if they did kind of ease him in today a little bit, even though he wasn't on the injury report. I do wonder about that. So I think I would still take Swift. It's hard for me not to take the running back because what we saw with Kenneth Walker today, Kenneth Walker saved his day with that really late touchdown. But if not for that touchdown, Kenneth Walker is going to get you a 6 or 7 point game because no receptions, right? It just doesn't have that. Guys like Swift, catching Austin Eckler, catching 5, 6, 7 passes a game. You feel better about them. So I would probably take Swift still.
And that's true. That's the thing is JT's not getting those catches, and that's limiting. They should be using both him and Hines more. I don't know why they're not, because they said they were, and now they're not. So
Frank Reich
always have
draft Nyheim Hines this year.
Seriously, at least there was somebody out there who was saying they were going to start him this week because their other options were not good. At least you got your touchdown.
Patreon this morning. It was one of our patrons, and we said start. We looked at his other options, said start Hines. So hopefully he did.
At least you got you a touchdown.
Yeah.
All right, quick reminder. Yes, Lord Colin B, smash the like. Appreciate that. All right, Chris, I know you love your defensive questions. Good streamer for defense in week 9.
I haven't even looked at it. I don't know. Well, who's Cincy play? They play somebody. They have a good matchup, right?
All right, I got it here. They play the Panthers, but it's at home.
It's in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then I would just roll with Cincy again. PJ Walker, I'll take that all day. I mean, PJ Walker's not lighting it up. He's taking sacks, throwing picks. I'll take Cincy versus PJ Walker at home. Sure thing. No problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who. I mean, as a streamer, it's got to be somebody who's kind of available and out there. I mean, Jaguars going back home facing the Raiders, who can't do much apparently. That might be worth doing. You might be able to pick up the Chiefs since they were on bye because they go back home to face the Titans. And we don't know if Tannehill's going to be back. And even so, that's not a team you got to worry about putting up major points. So that might be a good one too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep going. Guys, we're going to be on, by the way, about 10 more minutes just before the Sunday night game kicks off. If you have any start-sit questions for tonight or tomorrow, Monday, game that might matter, let us know. We'll try to get to those first.
Well, speaking of which, I did see this. Boyd or Gabe Davis?
Oh, man. I can't bench Gabe. I mean, the upside is so massive. He's he's the number 2. Boyd now is the number 2. But I feel better about Buffalo's offense. Especially this week.
Yeah, I can't bench. I can't bench Gabe. How about this one? That's always a good week. That's always a good week when your opponent's best player was Naheem Hines. That's always a good. I'm guessing you won pretty easily this week.
I want to say I hope that whoever you played has a lot of Chiefs and Chargers in their lineups, and that's their excuse. Because otherwise, they should just quit fantasy.
Yeah, and then how about this one? Because are we starting to see a change in Chicago? Are we starting to see it?
I mean, I'm saying no, just because. I mean, Montgomery was bottled up for the most part, like we expected, but he's still going to be the pass. We just talked about it, right? You need that guy who's going to catch passes. Herbert does not do that, and Montgomery is still the guy, and it's still going to be pretty much a split. Herbert has been more effective because he breaks those big runs, and Montgomery doesn't do it quite as often. Thing is, Herbert, I think, maybe has more value in a standard league because he gets those goal line touches more. He's more likely to score a touchdown. Montgomery probably still has more value in PPR. Look, as far as carries, it was 16-15, Herbert Montgomery. I mean, that's as even of a split as you can get. Montgomery with 3 catches, Herbert with no catches, no targets. So that's pretty much what it is.
This is the first time we've seen Herbert actually have more work than Montgomery when both are healthy. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle says somebody dropped Brian Robinson.
I guess. Okay, sure, but he's like Zeke. They're basically the same guy at this point. Low yards per carry, get decent volume, needs to score a touchdown. Okay, so yeah, if you're we're still in the in the heart of bye weeks, and there's always injuries. It's always good to have a guy like that on your bench because you got your running backs on buys, you got injuries, you might need to throw them in there and hope for 10 fantasy points or something. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's good to have a guy who's technically the starting running back, but I mean, obviously we know can't expect too much. Let's do this one because I love Smoothie King. Looking for a QB trade, Judy and Lockett that I could move. Who should I try and get?
I mean, you're not going to trade. The thing is, what quarterback are you going to trade one of those guys for? That's going to be better, significantly better than somebody on the waiver wire. You're not going to get Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. You're not going to get one of those guys. You're probably not going to get Dak now because he just had a big game, so his value just went way up. You know what I mean?
Not going to get even Tua coming off a monster
game.
Yeah,
and Tua, you're not going to get Kyler. Kyler's had 2 nice games now that Hopkins has been back. So you're going to get what? Tom Brady? You're going to get Kirk Cousins? I mean, you're these are waiver wire guys, right? So, yeah, I don't think I just don't think it's worth it. I'd rather have Judy and Lockett.
Buy low on Derek Carr.
Well, I don't even know if I would trade one of these guys for Derek Carr. No. Yeah, I'd rather just hold Judy and Lockett, honestly.
It depends who's out there, who's willing to trade their quarterback. I mean, and we don't know who's on waivers, so this might be one. Give us more detail. Jump in the Discord. And maybe you can tell us. Okay, and the same follow-up question, Lockett or Judy, who do you like better?
I probably have to still go Judy. I know Lockett had that touchdown today, and Lockett can always do that, but again, at least Russ had 250 yards today or something. Geno Smith, it's just you're getting 180 to 200 yards from Geno Smith, and it's just very hard as a wide receiver when your quarterback's only throwing 200 yards, and you got another guy like DK Metcalf out there. So I still think I go Judy.
Yeah, after you drop that touchdown, you can't pick Lockett. Just can't.
Well, he redeemed himself, scored a touchdown later.
Yeah. Got Echo Victor. Got JT on the low. Am I cursed? No,
I mean, it
I don't
depends
think
how
JT
low.
has
Like
done anything to curse your team.
yeah, and you said you got him on the low, so I don't know what you gave up for him, but if I don't know. Like it's just hard for me to accept that a running back as good as Jonathan Taylor in the prime, like running back prime is like 23 to 26 years old. He's 24. He's like in the prime of his career. He's like, it's hard for me to believe that JT is going to be bad all year long. Like this isn't like, Ezekiel Elliott, who's not in the prime of his career and is obviously like more towards the end of his career than the beginning of it. Like this is a great running back in the prime of his career. I have trouble believing he's going to be bad all year.
I know. I was very bullish, as you saw, in top 10 rest of the season. I'm not giving up yet. It was a bad game, but we'll see what happens. Things change very quickly in the NFL.
Yeah.
We will see. They tried their conservative game plan. Didn't work. Maybe they get a little more aggressive next week out of sheer desperation. All right, so a couple of interesting questions here. Vinny wants to know, would you trade Kamara for Justin Jefferson?
I mean, I don't know which side you're getting, but I still want Justin Jefferson. Even if you need a running back, I want Justin Jefferson. We're talking about probably the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver this year, depending on Kupp's injury and what Diggs does rest of the season. Like, I still want Jefferson for sure.
I definitely want Jefferson. I mean, yeah. If you can get Jefferson for Kamara, do it.
Oh, yeah, do it. That's selling high on Kamara for sure.
All right, and then Vu Win is saying traded Pollard and Waddle for JJ and Hendo.
I mean, I still like this for you because, Waddle's been good and Pollard was good today, but unfortunately Zeke will probably be back after the bye and Zeke will get his 15 carries and Pollard will just go back to being who he was. And, Waddle's been great, but I'm sure even Pierre would take Justin Jefferson over Waddle in fantasy.
Well, yeah. I wish that you got somebody better than Henderson because I don't know if he's even usable. But yeah, I mean, you did get a slight upgrade of receiver, so I think it's still a win because, like you said, Pollard isn't like an every week must start anyways. No, so I feel like, I mean, I don't know if you did this just now or if it was before today, because then you could have sold Pollard probably higher after today. Yeah, you know what I mean. So definitely. I still think it's good for you, though. I still think it's good. All right, Austin. Ooh, trade Kelsey for CMC.
I mean, if you're getting CMC, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I don't even grab Irv Smith off waivers if you have to. I don't even care. Like,
it says Ingram, so Ingram's fine.
Yeah, okay, then you're more than fine at tight end. Ingram's been great. Yeah, you have to do this. CMC with San Francisco is going to smash.
We saw it today. If someone's willing to give you CMC, hey, don't hesitate. Do it.
Yeah.
Austin, again, where do we go here with Pitts? Well, frustrating. You should be happy today, but of course, we don't overreact to one game because he did this a couple weeks ago and then did nothing. What do you think about Pitts? A lot of discussion about him.
He's still going to be in my he's fine to start him kind of guy. Like I'd still start him over waiver wire guys. He's still not must start for me. I need to see more than what, like you said, he did this a couple weeks ago. We all, he's back in the must start. And then he did nothing for 2 weeks. I need to see more. It's still a terrible passing offense. It just is. It's a terrible passing offense. So let me see what he does next week. If he pulls through again next week, I'll put him back in the you got to start Pitts.
All right. This is kind of my take on Pitts, I've still been a little higher on him than most because he's too talented. You saw what he does with the ball in his hands today. So why are they getting the ball in his hands? I mean, I don't think he's going to hit the heights we expected, of course. I don't think that's going to suddenly change, but I think he will be better than he has been. So I still have to put him over the majority of tight ends. I mean, you got the top 5 guys like Kelsey and Andrews and Kittle and Goddard. And then whoever I'm forgetting. And then I think he's right there, kind of still top 10 to me. I still would put him over most guys.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give up on him. And so, this is what I thought was a Pitts question, but I was like, that didn't make sense. But he says Pittman. All right. So Pittman or Gabe Davis? Rest
I
of
mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think it's got to be Gabe Davis now. It just has to. Like, he's got Josh Allen throwing him the ball, not Sam Ellinger. And, like, yeah, Pittman had 9 targets today. He had 7 catches, 50 yards. 50 yards. Like, Sam Ellinger cannot throw the ball more than like 30, 40 yards in the air. It's just, I mean, I know, and Pittman did have a really bad drop there at the end of the game. He would have had an even better game, but I got to go Gabe Davis. Until we see more from Pittman with Ellinger, I got to go Gabe Davis.
We had just put Pittman as one of those must-start guys, and we saw he was getting massive volume, and then they said, no, let's take away the veteran quarterback and put in a guy who's never played before. So yeah, things change quickly. It's got to be Gabe Davis too.
Yeah.
All right, we're looking way ahead now.
Yeah, what is this?
Should I trade AJ Brown because he'll sit in the fantasy playoffs? You're thinking
it's like one of those AJ Brown
always going to be available. I like the optimism, though. I see where you're going. That that you're going to be in the Super Bowl for your fantasy league.
But is this one of those like AJ Brown always gets hurt in the fantasy playoffs, so I'm just going to trade him now before it happens? Like, I don't get this. I don't get this one.
My answer that's no. I'm not worried about AJ Brown in week 17 or anything like that. So
yeah.
Boston, trade Waddle and Goedert for Andrews and Cooks.
Is that Brand? If it's Brandon Cooks, I'm going to say definitely not. I'd rather just roll with Waddle and Goedert. If it's Dalvin Cook, it's a little closer, but I probably still want the Waddle and Goddard side. Like, Goddard's been great. I mean, yeah, he hasn't been as great as Andrews when Andrews is healthy. Obviously, Andrews, let you down last week because he got hurt. But yeah, if it's Brandon Cooks, like no chance. But even if it's Dalvin Cook, I probably still want the Waddle and Goddard side.
Yeah, because like you get Andrews, who's maybe the tight end 1 or 2 at least this year. For Goddard, that's not a big drop off because he's like that second tier of tight ends.
Yeah.
The drop off from Waddle to Cooks is massive. You're talking about a top 10 rest of the season wide receiver for a guy who's barely even startable. And even though today he kind of did something, were you sad if he was on your bench? No.
No.
So
he kind of did something because he caught like that last drive. I think he had like 2 catches for 40 yards or something on the very last drive.
Garbage time. So no, if you're trading away Waddle and Goddard, I don't do that. All right, guys, our game is underway.
It's already going. It's already going, and somehow the Packers stopped the Bills, and the Packers are actually driving.
Wow.
Who's ready? Who's ready for a Packers upset tonight?
We'll see. We'll see about that. I told you though they're going to slow it down. We might see more AJ Dillon.
It's looking that way. Somehow AJ Dillon with 1 catch for 9 yards.
Never know. All right, guys. So we'll be back and we'll answer a lot of trade questions, waiver wire questions on Tuesday night. Yep. And of course, look for the panic video to drop right after this game. Look for the trade videos also and waiver wire video tomorrow. And of course, start sit as always. And then we'll see you on Saturday for the start sit show. All right. Good luck in what remains of week 8.